We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Moody's downgrades U.S. debt after the close, of course. What does that mean for crypto? It means the Fed's going to have to print, probably. Actually, definitely. How does that affect Bitcoin? Well, it means Bitcoin can go up. It means mining stocks can be up only, right? Mining stocks, right? They must watch the show, right? Crypto equities, you cannot believe how far crypto equities can go relative to like its LuxAlgo premium zone, right? Not to mention Ethereum, right? A lot of people are down on Ethereum. There was bad news about their new operating system, getting hacked. And guess what? It didn't go down. So it's supposed to go down and it doesn't. What's it going to do? It's going to go up. So if you look at the crypto equities and you look at Ethereum, you look at the fact that the dollar is going lower, and we're going to talk about Arthur Hayes' new piece, which you're going to want to hear that, the setup for crypto. And I actually think the setup for altcoins following Ethereum, decentralized AI, I've got a couple reports in the new Patreon Platinum group, and we're going to be talking about this on the VI member live stream. We missed yesterday, but we will come roaring back over the weekend. Trust me, you're going to want to see that. And when I talk about it, you're going to be like, hey, I got a FOMO into a subscription. This is the link for Patreon, right? This is for LuxAlgo, which is a must. YouTube member area. And don't forget the Bitcoin conference. JD Vance, can't wait to see what he has to say. Hopefully it's something good, right? And for the XRP Army, I have something special in the PowerPoint presentation. So XRP fans, don't go anywhere. Now, Moody's downgrades U.S. sovereign credit amid fiscal pressures. Again, they must watch the show. They're not going to cut spending. They're not. Elon is not coming back. And the big, beautiful bill is going to eliminate taxes on everything from tips to overtime, and most likely anybody under 150. And Congress, in order to get that through, is not going to tolerate any cuts in their district. So what does that mean? Well, that means the Fed has to print, or Bessent has to print, to absorb the supply of government bonds that's coming down the pipe. That's it. And they've got a tax strategy, or they will have a tax strategy, according to Arthur Hayes, that is going to send the dollar. Now, we got to discuss this in the YouTube member area, because you're going to want to hear Toby's price targets, or reaffirm her price targets for the next couple months and for the end of the year. The woman hasn't been wrong about anything ever. So check it out. We will also be doing live single coin picks and AMA. All right. But this speaks for itself. This is buy Bitcoin, or buy what no one else owns, which is Ethereum. Now, for your comic relief for this week. Okay. The left inflation expectations, the tariffs, right? So the expectation from people on the left is for a 7% inflation rate, and inflation is we're actually deflating according to PPI. PPI was supposed to be up. It was actually down. That means prices falling. Wow. So who's right? Reality or the left? I report, you decide. Okay, Americans can't really save any money, right? In the 1960s, it was 12%, and it was 7.5%, and now it's 0.6%. Okay. So naturally, food and supplies went on credit card bills while prices were going parabolic. So what are they going to do with the 0.6%? It's going to Coinbase. They can never get their act together. It's going to Coinbase, right? All they need is for to see it to start rallying. And I don't know if that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, memes, or D, all of the above. Retail is coming. Why? Because retail needs it. Like institutions have to own it, because if they don't own it and it goes parabolic, they're fired. That's hedge funds, mutual funds, sovereign wealth funds, corporate treasuries, governments, you name it. Okay. Own it before it goes up or get fired. General public's got to get in as a wealth engine. It's the biggest argument for the sovereign wealth fund, right? Retail needs a wealth engine. People at the top 1% got a wealth engine in terms of NVIDIA and parabolic housing prices before that went bust. And that will go bust, right? If they cannot get long-term interest rates down, because that doesn't matter what the Fed does, you're going to have housing. Let's just say it's going to become very affordable very quickly. And I don't think the Orange Man has a problem with that, because the people who own houses at the higher end won't be able to sell. Naturally, that's going to hurt small people. But I don't think they're going to have a problem with letting housing prices fall. They've already got tax-deductible interest on American-made vehicles, because a lot of times when you buy a vehicle, you pay all the interest up front. And if they're charging you absurd interest rates, which they are, that's a tax deduction. So what does that tell you, right? Joe Public cannot afford anything. And they got to fix that. They absolutely have to fix that. Okay, Fuzz Crypto asking, when does retail flood back in, sooner rather than later? After it's gone up. Like halfway up the banana zone in 2017, they all came in at 10 to 15K, and people were putting it on their credit cards at 20. Okay, memes could also change that. New meme coins or new AI coins, right? If an AI agent starts doing something in crypto that gets on the front page of a newspaper, that could bring in retail as well. Is ETH officially back from the dead? If we're asking this question 80% off the lows, admittedly, ETH should not have gone back to where it was in 2017. It should not have. But if it's 80% off the low and we're still asking this question, it's going much higher. It's going much higher. It's going back to, well, you know what? Sign up in the YouTube member area to discuss the price targets. Now, Arthur Hayes says the American obesity epidemic, I'll come off the screen share for just a second, is symptomatic of a fiscal problem that just won't go away. Just won't go away. Now, here's what he says, and this is fascinating. So they tried tariffs, and that sort of blew up in their face, right? They didn't get the amount of money that they thought they were going to get. So what are they going to do? Well, here's what they're going to do. They're going to put a 2 or 3% tax on all foreign investment in the United States. So if some foreign entity came over here and invested in, American stocks, guess what? They're going to get a 2% haircut every year. Now, what is that going to do? Well, obviously, that's going to create a ton of selling. That's going to create selling in bonds, in stocks. And then what are they going to do with the money? What are they going to do with the dollars? Well, they're going to sell the dollars and convert back to their foreign currencies. So that's certainly a way to get the dollar lower, because they want the dollar lower. They want the dollar massively lower. They want the dollar Plaza Accord lower. Like, DXY at 80. I won't bore you with the quarterly chart again, because I know everyone's like, it doesn't register with people how much lower they need the dollar to go. And Arthur Hayes is right that that's the way to do it. Now, that's going to create a lot of volatility in markets. So somebody was asking, when does retail come in? It comes in during the up-only phase, but to have it a true up-only phase, I don't know. You may have to shake people out from time to time. That's what he says. And, he could be right. You could have a meme summer while Bitcoin consolidates, or an altcoin summer, and then Bitcoin goes in the fall. That's one possibility, right? In other words, they could bore you out while the things that no one owns, like new memes and ETH, do well. More details in the YouTube member area. Galaxy Digital is going public, and this is a potential short-term catalyst. Okay. Novogratz, who is the hedge fund manager, he says it all started when a call from a close friend in 2013 who said, you need to read the Bitcoin white paper. 5 years later, I founded Galaxy. Somebody called me. They didn't ask me to read the Bitcoin white paper. I wish they would have. But I just said, I'll chart it. They said, we want to know what you think about Bitcoin. And I just started to chart it. Right? This guy, this was considered a joke when he did it. It was a joke. Now he's the Goldman Sachs of crypto. Now he has no competition and may not have any competition unless they let the banks do everything that he can do. Okay. Here is, okay. Novogratz Galaxy Digital opens trading on the Nasdaq at $23 per share. Okay. So Mike is now public. Cost him $25 million in fees to investment banks to get public. And a period of years. But as somebody is saying, right, his data center business, even though I hated to see him get rid of the Bitcoin mine, the data center business is going to have him earning $1.7 billion and $32 billion of equity value in the near term with significant upside. I mean, Web 2 is going crazy with data centers. I mean, they're building data centers for, large language models or, just like, I don't know how you call it, but the code behind the AI, they're building the code and then they're giving it away. Literally. They're like, hey, use our code. Hey, use our code. Meanwhile, that's not exactly profitable. They have to figure out how to make it profitable. But in the meantime, they just build data centers and build and build and build and build. And Mike's got one all set up. Okay. Fidelity says Bitcoin may see another all-time high before the end of this cycle. Gee, homie, I sure hope so. The question is, do your mutual funds, are they allocated to Bitcoin? What kind of allocation do they have? I suspect it's very small. Like Fidelity wants you, the retail investor, to buy it, but the mutual funds at Fidelity and BlackRock have not bought it yet. So I don't know why they're thinking it's just a minor all-time high. I've heard double top. And again, volatility, Arthur Hayes. All right. Okay. Like Bitcoin sitting still while ETH and altcoins smoke higher. Okay. I get it. All right. We'll go over crypto stocks. And for XRP fans, I've got a little roadmap for you. Okay. Cross-chain DeFi at World Liberty. It's amazing how people have completely forgot about cross-chain with both ETH, Solana, and Bitcoin rocking. Okay. Solana's not exactly rocking, but when it does, somebody will start caring about cross-chain. Okay. Let's talk about World Liberty. So yeah, they made a lot of money on crypto when they first got into office. World Liberty feels like paid promotion to me, right? If you want your coin to get national exposure, pay us and we'll buy it. I don't know that that's true. But naturally, it has to come under scrutiny because I don't know if there's any way to get to the orange man, and it looks like sour grapes, to be honest with you. Let the guy invest in it. So the optics stink. What do you want to go? Gensler? Is that what you want? No, I don't think so. I'll take World Liberty over Gensler. Okay, so this is unbelievable, right? Crypto rivalries on the rise. Okay, so I guess you can't keep the crypto in your house anymore. You got to keep it at your Aunt Betty's house or somewhere because they're breaking into it and, they're assaulting people. I thought I had an article where the French police said, we're not going to tolerate crypto people, getting robbed. We'll see. We'll see. Anything, it just feels like to me, anything to stop crypto. Anything. In France, especially, right? Do they want you to be free? The answer is obvious. Okay, so, the crypto lobby is reminding senators and congressmen that we wrote a check for a reason, and the Genius Act to move to a full vote is a bump in the road, and it will pass in the next few weeks because Bessent told them we need someone to buy treasuries. And I will say, if there's a good thing about the Moody's downgrade, it's that these guys have to get this going now. And I hope that inside the stablecoin bill is something general that says crypto's legal in the United States. That may be wishful thinking, but stablecoins are coming. And I think if they legalize stablecoins, I don't know. I mean, it's like a de facto approval of crypto. And of course, a proliferation of stablecoins means that those stablecoins will probably wind up in Bitcoin because that's exactly what happened in 2017. They printed stablecoin, whales printed stablecoins, ramped Bitcoin, and then dropped it. There was a guy at the University of Texas who did the study. I was frankly appalled when I saw that, but, crypto ramps and then crypto unloads, it's common. The AI revolution won't be centralized. Superior agents are coming for big tech's crown. Okay. In the Patreon Platinum area, okay, we have in the Patreon Platinum area, we have a new abundance of single coin research that you may remember from another company. They would call it crypto deep dives. Guess what? Your homeboy Bill, thanks to AI, can now do crypto deep dives, right? With a little help from Toby, not more than a little help from Toby, a little help from Bill, and a little help from ChatGPT. Boom. Crypto deep dive, low cap gem. The rise of AGI begins here. So what small cap AGIs or AI tokens are out there? And there's 3 big caps, right? One of them trades on Coinbase. All right. We have 3 DeFi AI coins as well. All right. We have 2 sets of 3 coins. Okay. Coming into the screen share one more time because you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it. Okay. Solana on fire. That was the $25 group. 3 coins, 3 speculative coins. And there is DeFi AI. So what we are doing in this group is we are narrowing it down, and we hope you'll join us there. We discuss these in the YouTube member area, and we do things on the fly, AMA, coin picks on the stream. Come join us. Please come join us, right? We are NFA about getting you the small coins that you need when this thing goes banana zone. Orange Man says, or Orange Man director of digital assets says, crypto is the next generation of finance. Yeah, you're right. It certainly is. It certainly is because of bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Moody's is like, no, no. Now, who knows if Moody's is on our side? Sources that don't like the Orange Man, I actually think they're right because we're not going to stop spending. Now, here we go with the media, right? At 77, it was radioactive. Then they went to the $1 million target. Now they're coming back to 220. So we have 220, 200, right? Bitwise. It's all bullish now, right? Publicly traded XYZ company buys $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. You know, it's funny. This is, I mean, $1 billion is a lot of money, obviously, but it's a great way to get press. Like, did you know who Metaplanet was before they started buying Bitcoin on the regular? Bitcoin breakout odds climb as all-time highs meet 90K dip warning. 90K is a gift. I don't even know how you get 90K unless you blow out the stock market. And those characters have got a problem that is so laughable. Like guys who are like, well, I'm bearish and I think I need to start buying. Which is funny. And that's like not small fries. That's big people. We'll go over the stock charts and the XRP pattern match that you're going to want to see. $408 million investment, the sovereign wealth funds, which ironically is not that much. What is that? Maybe 2% of what they got under management. These guys got to go from 2% to 20%, particularly when the dollar starts accelerating lower. No one is going to be exempt from this wealth tax. Or maybe that was part of the deal that was done overseas with Saudi Arabia. Just like the tariffs were selective, maybe these sovereign wealth funds who are investing in the United States, if they do a deal with the Orange Man, they won't be subjected to the 3% tax with Arthur Hayes is coming. He calls it capital controls. And you know what? Arthur Hayes hasn't been wrong about anything this year. He said 76 in January, right, when we all were wearing lampshades on our heads. And the Orange Man is going to have to do something about revenue. Student loans can supercharge DeFi growth. Getting student loans on chain. I don't know how they do that, but they are talking about it as consensus. You basically can more than quadruple TVL in all of DeFi. Okay. They got to get some help for kids who can't pay their student loan debts. They just can't pay. So how is that going to happen? You need a wealth generating effect. You need a wealth generating effect. Canada got it wrong. Wow, that's shocking. However, hat tip to our Canadian friends who watch the show, labeling stable coins as securities. So some Canadian things are constructive crypto, but stable coins as securities, no bueno. And I have a feeling all of these governments are going to reverse course when the Orange Man reverses course. And even if the Orange Man doesn't reverse course, you know what? If he doesn't, it's a mistake. And when government makes mistakes, you get recessions. Like every recession can be tied back to government mistakes. In this case, I don't think you're going to recession because of AI, But if the government makes mistakes on their budget or by not buying Bitcoin, yes, that's a disappointment. But what crypto holders really want is government screwing up. Honestly, Bitcoin looks ridiculous as bulls attempt 2 trillion market cap flip. Bitcoin can hardly get any more bullish. It's amazing. At 100, we said this. At 102K, I need to change my asset allocation. But at 70, it's nuclear. Okay, in a sign that the media does not know what to say, we do about XRP, and that's coming up. Is the XRP price rally over? Is XRP going to crash? I don't know. XRP slides. Cautious ahead of 105K price target. Watch out. Okay. Absolutely ridiculous to think that there's any reason for XRP to go down, right? It's the whole American-made crypto thing. Eventually, in the big, beautiful bill, he's going to want everything made in America. You can start with cars, and then he's just going to spread out from there. Just going to spread out. And you know what? Honestly, everything he said he was going to do, he's been doing. And a lot of people are shocked. You know, there was some geopolitical stuff in the Middle East. A lot of people thought that we were going to get into a conflict over there. And he said, guess what? We're not. We're not. Dave Portney says meme coins are gambling and not built to last. The Barstool founder opened up about the risk and the rush of meme coins at a fireside chat. Gee. You know, did they pay him to say that? If there was any way, right? I won't give you the antivirus privacy speech today. If there was any way to make memes fun and perhaps serious and useful, because, you know, McAfee did know how to have fun. So if you have a McAfee robot that knows how to have fun, who criticizes sovereigns and 3-letter word agencies and Web 2, although 3-letter word agencies, I saw a headline. Is this the Onion that they closed the FBI headquarters in DC? I don't know, man. I talk about draining the swamp. I don't know how that's going to work. What are they going to do? Open it up in Dallas? I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it. Filmmaker David Goyer bets on blockchain for next Sci-Fi franchise. Okay. Community-driven Sci-Fi franchise. Now, when Web3 first started, everybody went around and was like, Web3, NFTs, you know, decentralized DAOs, and everybody was like, oh, shut up. And everything went to zero. I think when it comes to AI, the general public having some voting power and some say, or at least have it not in the hands of the people who's in its hands now. Like, I would much rather have it in terms of Ben Goertzel's hands over at Artificial Superintelligence Token, who is always talking about responsibility and getting the general public involved. I mean, I listened to him talk at Consensus a year or two ago, and as I've said about that, I wish I had recorded it, because he talked about his group spreading out into all of AI, which included DeFi, which, again, we have a report on in the Patreon Platinum area. Go check that out. Wisconsin sells $350 million of Bitcoin ETF stake after the investment board doubles its exposure to spot Bitcoin ETFs late year as markets fell. Okay. So I don't know if that means, you know, the state of Wisconsin is bailing altogether, or if they're moving into some other form of Bitcoin. Let's, for the sake of argument, say they're bailing. If they're bailing at 105, what happens if it goes through the all-time high? We've been talking about what happens when it goes through resistance. Everybody's like resistance, resistance, resistance. Where do you see the charts? Where do you see the charts of these crypto equities? Yeah. Best call of the year. Best call of the year. Where do you see this stuff? Everyone's like, yeah, it's down, resistance. Okay. Okay, bro. Okay. Okay. Bitcoin adoption news. Stake and Shake accepts Bitcoin. Okay, so I don't know who's going to part with Bitcoin for Stake and Shake, but corporations have to figure out how to get it on their balance sheet. And the best way to get it on your balance sheet is to accept it in exchange for goods and services. And I would imagine that this accelerates into the holiday season. Stake and Shake is just out there ahead of the curve. Now, I remember stepping back in the day, right? I think the tokenomics on that were off. But I mean, I know guys back then, I mean, they were going on 10-mile walks per day to get the step-in token. Now, eventually that fell apart because everybody was working out and dumping the token. However, if they actually figure out the tokenomics on these things, work out to earn, play games to earn, you could probably onboard a lot of people with that idea. To find out where the onboarding really is, you want to tune into the YouTube member area where Toby has plenty to say about where she thinks they can onboard people. Now, so we got Ethereum and we got equilibrium. I mean, Ethereum isn't even at equilibrium. It is at resistance because this is where the give up trade started from. So if you look at this sort of Elliott wave style, if Ethereum prints 2870, the down move is officially over. Just, it doesn't have to blow through it. It just has to print it. And as a public service announcement, ETH is 50% away from its premium zone. You know, Bitcoin, for all the brouhaha, is pretty close to the premium zone and may not do anything, right? And once ETH gets done with its thing, I don't know, Bitcoin may correct. I mean, you know, ETH's 50% away and Bitcoin is 3% away. I mean, it's smoking. ETH versus Bitcoin with LuxAlgo support directly underneath it. This feels like it's not investment advice, but it feels like a no-brainer to me. Speaking of no-brainers, I have absolutely no idea why Wall Street wants to be bearish on Bitcoin miners. It's an organic source of Bitcoin. Coinbase went up despite the hack because it's being included in the S&P 500. And like things like HUT8 have 82% to go to get back to where it was in December, right? And that is a joke compared to where it was in 2021 when Bitcoin was at 70. Like everyone's like, oh, well, I got to buy Bitcoin. Stake and Shake's got to buy Bitcoin. Oh, it's like, you know, we go on and on and on. But this stuff is no good. Well, I don't want it. I don't want it. Look at this. We had all these headlines this morning of all these investment banks. They were like, well, oops, we thought this was the end of the world, and it wasn't. Whoops. Now we have to scale in and buy the dip. Guess what, homie? This was the dip. You ain't getting a dip now. I don't know what this could do, but this could absolutely blow through. Absolutely blow through its all-time high and maybe get into the premium zone. Okay. Nasdaq, QQQ, right? QQQ has 4% to go until it gets to its premium zone. You're not getting a dip. They're not getting it. And what does that mean for Bitcoin miners? Okay, Wolf, like LuxAlgo, put support underneath the rally. It goes down there. It retests it. You're still getting dips. They're still giving you dips, right? Goes up, retest the support. Somebody's going to tell me the 200-day moving average is resistance. Okay, bro. Okay. All right. You know, the 200-day moving average in Coinbase was resistance until it gapped through it and smoked to equilibrium. And Coinbase still has 35% to go before it gets to the premium zone. BTBT. I think these guys, I could be wrong, but I think this stock got annihilated because they're holding a huge ETH position. Okay, if you get a reclaim above $2.57, right, that was support. You know, you could claim that this was the level. Boom. Let's see. Bada bing, bada boom. 14% to go, which is a lot in stocks, to the 200-day moving average, and 101% to the premium zone. This is FAFO. Don't, you know, everyone's like, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to buy? We have to scale in now. Scale into what? Scale into what? NVIDIA at the resistance at the premium zone? Scale into what exactly? Possibly MicroStrategy. Like Bitcoin is close to its premium zone, but Michael Saylor's stock is maybe 25% away. And of course, Peter Thiel, all the hedge fund geniuses, all the guys calling for recession, they're all short MicroStrategy. I don't know why you would get short a stock when you have a company who has a Bitcoin strategy that cannot be replicated. Nobody could buy the amount of Bitcoin that he has without driving the price up to stratospheric levels. I mean, his average price is like still below 70. His average price is the old all-time high in Bitcoin. What is the probability that you see that? I don't know. Join the YouTube member area and find out. But, you know, these crypto equities and coming up, you know, like I said, they're going to have to buy something. They said that. Okay, let's go to PowerPoint and just give them what they want. We'll give them what the XRP army wants. I actually saw that trending on Twitter today. Okay, so the red line is the last 180 days in XRP. The blue line is a special computer's match to, you know, this blue chart and the red chart. So it gives it like a close to 90% match. And this shows that XRP could go into a range, right? Pop up, go into a range, and go straight up. Just like the election, right? In other words, if JD Vance goes to the Bitcoin conference, he may not have the strategic reserve, but they may send him there and go, no transaction tax on Bitcoin, no transaction tax on made in America cryptos. What does that do to XRP? Boom. I mean, it's right here in front of your face. And again, I couldn't control myself. I had to do it live TA style, right? To upgrade your membership, go to the homepage and hit membership, because we are dead serious in the YouTube member area and in Patreon Platinum about narrowing this down to like 1 to 4 coins per report. 1 small and 3 big in case you can't do the 1 small. We are not playing around about this. And frankly, we think the research kicks butt. It kicks butt because Toby can give you a list. We can talk about that. And then we can go in Patreon and use the model to narrow it down to like one coin. That's not taking away from the fact that Toby can look at a list and go, this one, this one, this one, this one, live on the air. You tell me where you're going in the cryptoverse and someone's going this one, this one, this one, this one, and showing up with a list. You tell me, man. You tell me, homie. You tell me. Meanwhile, back at the gold ranch, okay, gold is on support, and it looks like they want to buy it, and I think they are, especially after this Moody's thing, right? You have a LuxAlgo support zone. Boom. Boom. And I forgot to welcome who's here. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to, oh, I forgot to share the screen too. Okay. Here's the screen share on gold. I think they want to buy it on this LuxAlgo trend line right there. And if gold goes back up because of this Moody's thing, which conveniently they did after the close, Bitcoin's going to rage higher, or the crypto stocks could rage higher. They are underinvested. You know, Goldman and Zero Hedge and JP Morgan was like, yeah, it's time to scale in. I'm going to scale in on dips. You're not getting a dip. You're not getting a dip. Okay, maybe it'll go up 4%. Then you'll get a dip, maybe. All right, maybe. But meanwhile, crypto stocks will smoke higher, and you're going to get your new you-know-what's squeezed on MicroStrategy. That's going to be epic. The MicroStrategy short squeeze and the housing bada boom. That's going to be rather epic. Let's go to total crypto market cap. Let me ask you something. Even though Bitcoin is close to its premium zone, what stops total crypto market cap from going up another 15% to 3.5 trillion, which is back where it was back in the, Orange Man meme coin days? Nothing. And how's it going to get there? Is it Bitcoin? Maybe. Or could it be ETH and XRP? And total too, which is total crypto market cap without Bitcoin. Good God Almighty. They took it all the way down to the bottom of the LuxAlgo premium zone. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, I forgot about Solana. This is big. Excuse me. This is Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Cardano. Total 3 altcoin market cap, which is minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Web3 minus the two big cryptos. First of all, it's only worth 800 billion, which is a joke. In equities, they floss with 800 billion. So does the Fed. And this has 31% to go. I think you're getting the point. I think you're getting the point, right? When you start looking at DeFi, two things, right? Everybody's afraid of the 200-day moving average until they're not. Like the 200-day moving average, and I think resistance in general, doesn't mean boo unless you've had like extreme FOMO. Like, when does the general public show up? Hopefully not at the premium zone. Hopefully not there. But we got such a long way to go, right? And these AI coins, like what happens if they FOMO in through Coinbase and there's only like 2 or 3 AI coins available? What happens? And then, of course, there's the big memes, right? WIF went to the 200-day moving average and they're afraid of it. What happens when they're not afraid of it? That's the question, right? You know, Bonk, which was in, well, I gave it away. It hits the 200-day moving average. They're giving you dips, right? Everyone's like, you know, it's like, you know, everybody wants it to be up only. Everyone has 2021 syndrome, right? And a certain colleague of mine told you it wasn't going to be like that. And all of our members are printing because of it. So when you get these retracements, what should you do? When they give you red days, viewership falls off on red days. No one wants to talk about it. Of course, and this you know, this kind of descent is why, right? This is the descent in Bonk. %52 drop for the whole move. Part of the move was a 73% drop. This drop, this drop in Bonk, again, was 52%. Straight down is my point. What are you going to do if the general public comes back in through Coinbase, assuming they can get their act together? What happens? Pepe, which is leveraged ETH, right? And I think MOG is too. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. We have breaking news on the FAFO front that might make you feel good about the strategic Bitcoin reserve. So, former director of the FBI to be escorted by Secret Service for questioning, you know, things that he may have written in the sand or other things. I'm telling you right now, these guys in office are not playing around. They're not. Are they going to keep their promises to crypto bros? God, I certainly hope so. Because if they ever did, you would be off to the races. Guess where? In altcoins. Nobody in crypto is like, yeah, who's talking about a 6-month alt season? Nobody. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Because the tech part of crypto hasn't done anything for the entire cycle. That's why. And that's not a terrible thing, because it hasn't done anything. And last cycle, they dumped it on everyone's head. But you have to start asking yourself, what happens if the 200-day moving average doesn't matter? What happens if retail comes in and FOMOs into anything they can get their hands on? Simply. What happens if Bitcoin eventually gets going, either after a correction or right now? What happens if Michael Saylor gets crowned king of crypto equities and all the hedge funds have to bow down? What happens? What happens when that's all over the front page of the newspaper? Let's go to MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, fill in the blank. I'm going to ask Toby about MicroStrategy in the next YouTube member live stream, which will be either Sunday or Monday. We had to skip a day because my voice has been extremely under the weather. I got it together today. Let's keep our fingers crossed. No more yelling into the microphone for me. What happens when MicroStrategy takes out 500? And I don't know if they can get through the premium zone, but what happens when it gets through 500? Let's do it that way. MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, $500 a share. What happens when that's all over the newspaper? Nobody reads newspapers anymore, but you get the point, right? You have to question everybody's crypto narrative right now. You have to question it before the institutions come in and retail follows. Because if you question the narratives now, you have upside, crypto equities being an example, you have huge upside. Huge, right? Especially because A, people don't believe it, and crypto hedge funds may not believe it. They may not. So again, and of course, speaking of contrarian views, I'm pretty sure since somebody, Tim Walz, declared crypto stocks dead. Yeah, they're not dead. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you have to take the ultimate contrarian view. Like they say, altcoins will never go up. You'll never see alt season again. It's crypto winter. Remember that 3 weeks ago? Pack your bags and get ready for a possible alt season. Because you know what happens? Everyone's like, oh, well, the 200-day moving average and blah, 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 blah. And then what happens? Boom, it takes off. That's usually the way it is. Then everybody calls me up and says, when's it going to dip? When's it going to dip? Now. That's when it's dipping. Now. Okay, people. YouTube member live stream Sunday or Monday, depending on when I can talk. Please visit us. Single names, right? Single cryptos. Narrowed down research in Patreon Platinum. AMA live picks, YouTube member area. Okay. Both of them put together are still less than other services. And the $88 platinum tier is lower than I've seen other people charge. Right? Everyone's at 99. We're at 88 because we care about you and we want you in. That's the market update for today. I'm going to find a throat lozenge. We will see you soon.